everything right. You know what I'm saying? Tonight, we're talking football talk again. You know, our nice little chop up on a Monday evening. I have the pleasure of the man been in Hillside for 5 years. He was an MVC champion in '94, Mountain Valley champion. That is. The last 3 years, he had a record. The last 3 years at Hillside had the record of 21-4-1. I think this man deserves a round of applause and much love, because he was there when I started coming to like Hillside games and things like that, and I always heard great things about him. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking of no other than Mr. Coach John Kaye. I'm going to bring him in a minute. Hold on 1 second. Let me get him on. I just wanted to show him some love really quickly. So let me get him and bring him in, and we're gonna go from there. Here we go. Yeah, got my guy coming. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Coach John Kaye is in the building. Coach Kaye.
There we go.
There you go.
What's up, brother? How are you?
Oh, pretty good. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm
Now,
so excited to be a part of this, man. Love what you're doing to keep all the great stuff alive.
yeah, thanks. I definitely appreciate it. And like, I saw your post one time. You're like, you know what? I thought about it. I was like, football is a thing too at Hillside for the culture of Hillside too. At that point, the '90s, you was like at the front of it. I guess it's safe to say we can get right into it and start chopping it up about Hillside football. How'd you fall into that nice little position?
So, in the late '80s, I was an assistant coach at Scott. The head football job at Hillside was open. I applied for it and had a bunch of interviews. Went through the process. Long story short, I get named the head coach late that summer, and we walked out there and. Myself and Coach Crisafi, who was with me, and then we met John Zapula, and then I got a bunch of Hillside guys that jumped on with us, man,
Yeah,
and right then and there, I knew there was something special about this community when I had guys like Norman Ford and Raheem Graham and Derek Sellers and Jimmy Hopkey and all these guys jump on board, and then I'd be at practice, and Tat and Tony Tucker would come by, and all these guys, and I said, wow, man, this is a special place because look at how the people in this community respond to some new guy who just walked in.
yeah. You know what? Not for nothing, but I got to tell you this right now because you said you were in Fan Wisconsin Plains. Now it's funny because I work there now, and I work at their for their board of education, and also I'm in a position where I'm trying to become the basketball coach over there.
Okay.
So maybe we'll talk about that later because
I
you come
coached
from there.
basketball there for 3 years.
Oh,
I
really?
coached some players. Yeah, I coached some good players there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk after this.
There you go.
Now, now with the guys, do you remember any of the guys that you had that was like a special talent that you thought in your mind?
At Hillside.
Yeah, at Hillside.
Oh, God, tons of them. Tons of tremendously talented athletes. So my first year, we walk on the field. We got offensive linemen like Omar McAfee, who's a Division I guy, like Marcus Barsu, who's like, I walk out there, he's like 6'5", like 275, 280. Joe Tao, who was a good player. George Meadow was our tight end. Al Tariq Lynn played
Yeah.
both sides of the ball for us. Cedric Stokes, Byron Davis. We had a really, really good football team. One of the guys that I still talk about to this day that is an unbelievable player for us was Larry Eady, who, when I got there, we put a wing T offense in, and Larry was an I fullback, and I told him if he came here, if he's going to be the leader that he said he was, I need you to be unselfish, and I need you to be a guard on the offensive line.
Yeah.
And that took a whole lot, man. And Larry Eady just stepped up, said, Coach, whatever this team needs me to do. And he played right guard for us, and when he was a running back all his life. And, that's what character's all about on a football field, doing what it takes so you can get the best 11 guys on the field.
Right. Now, I noticed that a lot of guys, they said they played out of position. Now, I know I'm not saying saying that it was a good thing or a bad thing, but it definitely turned out to be a good thing for those guys because if they would have stayed and played at their same position that they played when they were in either Pop Warner or elsewhere, they would have never got the recognition or the playing time that they got.
Right. Well, like Larry Eady was a guy who made his hay playing middle linebacker more than
Mm.
offense. But
Mm.
in order for us, we always prided ourselves on putting the best 11 players on the field. So
Yeah.
we got to make the puzzle fit so we get those 11 guys out there.
Yeah.
And like, I was listening to you talk to Eric Graves the other day. What a great job he did that.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
Eric's tremendous. But Eric Graves talks about with you how look, no one even really heard much about us as juniors and seniors because we were playing behind guys like Kendall Ogle and Lamont Adams. Well, let me tell you what, Eric Graves was a running back, and he was behind Kendall Ogle, who was the fullback there? Monte Stokes,
Mm.
Kevin Richardson. All right, there was 3-4 running backs, and how good is Eric Graves? And he was still,
Yeah.
trying to fight for time. And
Yeah.
then he had young Ravon Miles coming up, and we had some good running backs.
Yeah. Yeah, just to let you know, I'm still trying to get Ray Bond. I'm working on like some of the guys that's supposed to be here. I'm still working on them, trying to get them in because that's right. You had the opportunity to work with Ray Bond, a very, very, very young one too. At that,
Yeah, sophomore.
yeah,
His sophomore year. After his sophomore year is when I left. So
yeah. And what year was that? I want to say I remember because we came out the same year. 95, 96?
95. So that was Barry Bird was our quarterback, and Tyrese
Yeah.
and Roger Wingate and that whole crew. And then in the middle of that school year, I had just gotten married, and my wife was from the Jersey Shore, and being in the coaching profession, you better find a way to keep your wife happy. So
Yeah, yeah. Telling you.
get my wife closer to her family, and unfortunately, it meant I had to leave Hillside because I loved it there. But I
Yeah.
moved down to Mattawan. I coached there for like 30 years. So since then,
Wow.
25 years.
Wow, damn, it has been that long. I feel like I'm still just meeting you for the first time, Coach, because it's like cause my brother played when he
Yeah,
played.
brother's
He
still
only played
good athlete.
freshman. Yeah, he played freshman. I think he completed the season because I know I did because I got a hit pointer or something. But he completed the season and then he moved on to basketball. But he would always say, "Coach K got us doing this. Coach K got us doing that. Oh man, they busting our ass in practice." I'm like, hey man, I want to hear that. I want to try to make myself get better at that time.
Yeah, so
So I would always be on the other side of the fence watching.
we left the conditioning to the hardcore guys. Coach Sellers ran all that.
Yeah, oh yeah. But of course, but of course. And then Graham, and then you guys had it set up because it was like you was like the president did because you had Graham and Ford. They coached us for freshmen that year.
Right.
The JV team was it combined or
Yeah, it was
was it
combined.
just varsity?
So
Combined?
no, it's combined. So Crisafi and Sellers and all those guys. The only guy I was the only guy I didn't go down there. I stayed with the varsity guys over there.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, stay with the town, stay with the guy that. Now, what was your role in helping guys get into like a college or something like that? Because a lot of coaches this is first. I'm asking you because a lot of guys went on like Kendall. You had Kendall. What was that experience like?
Awesome. So listen, at the end of the day, coaches don't get kids recruited. Kids get kids recruited.
Right.
I can introduce every coach to every player. They're going to put your film on it. They're going to determine whether or not you can play on that level or you can't. Kendall Ogle could have played anywhere in the country. There was a day I'll never forget it. So we were getting people in to recruit Lamont and Kendall, and
Mm.
you'll remember this probably. We were teaching phys ed in the gym. Myself, Miss Costas, Miss Brewster,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and Winston and Griff and all of us.
Mm.
So they made us teach folk and square. Remember going square dancing in there?
Yeah.
This square dance class, and I got 50 Division I coaches. I'm talking Jimmy Johnson, Lou Holtz, you name them, Miami, Notre Dame, Penn State, Georgia Tech, everybody in there. And I'll never forget, the coach from Georgia Tech walked up to me, and he goes, "Coach, you must be one hell of a teacher." And I was like, "Why?" He goes, "Because you can get these kids to do this. You can get anybody to do anything."
Yeah, yeah, that's right though. Yeah, man. I mean, as you get older, it's fun,
Oh,
But
yeah.
at that age,
It was no fun
yeah,
teaching, trust me. But you know what? So we had all these coaches in, and they all knew we had talent. So, and they knew Roger Wingate was coming up the following year. They saw guys like Kendall and Lamont, and we had Omar McAfee get a Division I scholarship the year before that. So we had dudes, man, and everybody. And before me, there was Flash Gordons and guys like that. Man, there was dudes coming out of that place that could play. So
yeah,
we always had a ton of coaches in. All I had to do was put the film on and introduce them and do homework. Make sure my biggest role was to make sure that these kids had grades,
yeah,
make sure they were going to class, make sure they knew the role. Like, when this college coach comes in, you shake his hand, you look him in the eye, you speak, yes, sir, this,
yeah,
yes, sir, no, sir, and do the
yeah,
right thing and show the character of an individual that you are, so that they love you when they see your film, and then they'll be fighting over you.
yeah. Right, right. Now was the I know I had Lamont, Roger, and Kendra Warren here, but from a coach's perspective, did they come at you in terms of the other coaches coming in from the colleges? Did they come to you personally, like when you met them, like, Coach, I want this kid? Did they actually come to you like that, or they wanted to watch
So
the tape?
if you remember that age, it was just the start of getting off of film and more onto VHS tape and
Yeah,
video stuff like that. So
yeah,
we were able. I had a machine where I could just tape, and coaches would send me VHS tapes, and I would just spend hours upon hours upon hours of a day burning tapes and sending it out to every college there was on all of our guys.
yeah,
Because look, if you want to play college football, no matter what your level is, I'll find a place for you.
yeah.
Whether it's Division II or Division III or junior college, there's somewhere you can play.
Right,
So we tried to get anybody an opportunity that wanted it to go.
right. Yeah. Now, what was your the tour days? I remember that. I remember those days, like those when I was just a youngster looking over the gate, like, wow. Yeah, the way. What was your formula for the tour days? Meaning, did you have the weight room, the calisthenics outside, and go watch tapes, or how was you
So
doing that?
we thought the summer in that period of time was the most important thing to do to teach. Um, so that once we got the learning curve of what we were trying to do offensive and defensively down, when we got into scrimmage and gameplay, kids understood the system, they understand the scheme, they're ready to go play, and now they can be instinctive and they can react and not have to think as much.
Mm.
So we spent a lot of time teaching, and we look. We were young coaches back then. I was saying the other day, I said I can't imagine what kind of player Lamont Adams would be in today's game with
Oh,
yo and running plays with quarterbacks, run read games. He was a dynamic player as it was, but imagine if he played in today's game. Wow.
and you know what? And I honestly, that's where I saw him mostly playing. I never really saw him play basketball. I was more so on the football side with Lamont, and as to watch him and everything like that. But wow, yeah.
Tremendous player. Tremendous player. Some of our best offensive games were when we would drop back and call a pass play, and Lamont would drop back, and everybody'd go in coverage, and then Lamont would just run. That was a hell of an offensive call by me.
Yeah, right. All you thought of that yourself.
All right, you drop back, and when everybody goes in coverage, you run.
But see, he was young and strong enough to be able to do that, though. Like that was that. You wouldn't expect
Sometimes
it.
you got to play to the strengths of your guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And Lamont Adams, a guy who can run the football.
Yeah, speaking of the devil, he just walked in too. He's
Did
he's
he?
in here now too.
That's
He's
my
in here.
man right there. So my,
Now,
my daughter actually goes to Temple, where he went.
oh really?
Yeah.
Mm.
My daughter's in Philly. Yeah.
Oh man, so I guess she's enjoying that, huh?
Oh yeah, she loves it there.
So how's the COVID treating you right about now?
How's the what? The COVID?
The COVID, yeah,
I'm healthy, so that's the best thing, I guess. You know
the
what I mean?
best thing.
Yeah, we're concerned about what happens going back to school.
Yeah,
You know, we don't really know. We hear hearsay about things. I'm actually an assistant coach now. I stepped down as a head coach 2 years ago and thought I was going to spend some time with my family, and then I got roped back in.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I'm an assistant football coach at Homedale High School, right off the Parkway by the Art Center there.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm coaching there, just an assistant coach. I love it. It's a whole lot less pressure and not pressure so much, but just a lot less involved. You know, I don't have to
Yeah.
deal with parents, teachers, administrators. I just go coach my kids and then I go home.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh my God, tell me about it. I do 7th and 8th grade boys basketball, and it's like you have the label as the coach, but you're really the dad. You got to check out what's going on in the classroom, making
Oh,
sure he's doing his work and this, that, and
oh,
third.
oh,
I
no.
really thought. I mean, being that I like the kids, it works. But come on,
If you're coaching, you love kids. That's why you
yeah,
do it.
yeah. So now let's get down to it. Now you're that crop of kids in '90. I want to say '94. I believe it was '94. The team that Al Tariq Lynn was on. Who
That's early,
the
like
championship team, right?
so. That was
'94, right? Yeah, '94.
that's like Barry Bird and those guys, right?
I
Or was
want
it
to
before them? No,
'94.
94, 95. God, you're going back on me now.
I got to hear it was that's when they was champs. That's why I just wanted to talk about that team for a little bit.
Yeah. So in the 3 years in a row, when Kendall Lamont and those guys were juniors, we went 7-2.
Yeah.
Then we went 7-1,
Mm.
and then we went 7-2.
Mm.
So we went 21-5 in 3 years with those guys from sophomores to seniors. And
Yeah.
one years we won an MVC title. I forget which one it was.
That's '94. That's '94.
Okay. Yeah, it was good. We had some good football players. Let me tell you what, man. As long as I didn't get in the way and mess it up, you know. I mean, that's the way we looked at it. We had a solid coaching staff, and, and we said let's just put these kids in a position to perform and stay out of their way and let them play.
Right.
You know,
Right.
want to overcoach it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, excuse me. I had Coach Sellis on here. We talked a little bit of football, a little bit of basketball. We were going back and forth. But at the same time, I want to ask you now, with the guys that you had, did you have a favorite? Did you have a favorite guy or a favorite team? More so a favorite team between
Nah,
that.
you know what? Every team has its own personality,
Yeah.
its group. I pride myself on building a rapport with my players, and
Yeah.
at first we had to come in and build a little culture. We walked into a team, we went 5-4, and they were we had just met those kids. That's Al Tariq and those guys. And then we just walked in there in August and started coaching. We won 5 games, did a pretty good job. The following year was a little bit of a struggle, man. We had a tough time with some difficult situations, and we ended up going 2-7 and playing with a bunch of freshmen and sophomores at the end of the year. But hey, we had to do what we had to do. Some guys weren't happy with the way things were going. Unfortunately, we tried to make everybody happy and move on, but it didn't work like that. And then the following year, we Kendall Lamont and those guys were juniors, and we were rolling.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's safe to say that, and just like I told Eric last night, that dynasty within the '90s and the teams that you coached was like, I don't mean this to no type of disrespect. You guys were like the Dallas Cowboys, like that dynasty within the '90s, because I mean, like they were winning. Those were the top teams, and then like in the high school football, you guys were the top teams. I remember because I was at every game, well, almost every game, and I remember the one particular game where it was Eric and Roger Wingate, and I think the channels. What's the access channel? Anyway, well that news channel. They were there, and I was like, wow, these guys got TV time. And
Yeah,
after
we played 2 games. We played Roselle on TV at Roselle the year before.
mm,
Beat those guys. That was a great game for us. We had a great win. We
mm,
ended up beating 10-7. And then the following year, we played on TV3 at our place, I think against Governor Livingston, and we put a whoop on them.
yeah. I think that's the tape that's put up on YouTube that Roger Wingate was talking about
Yeah,
last night. That was a great game. I remember. I don't know why, Coach, but I remember that game like it was yesterday. I don't know
yeah,
why. I
funny.
think it's the atmosphere.
you and Eric were talking about Immaculata, and I'll tell you what, I'll never forget the game. So we were losing to Immaculata 7-0,
Hmm.
and we drove the ball 90 in 11 minutes. Took the whole fourth quarter. Eric Graves just took over the game, and we scored with like a minute to go. And you want to mention the name? Here we go. We're on the sideline. Do we kick the extra point and tie this thing, or do
Yeah.
we go for two and try to win? And Burnett Brown looked at me and said, "Coach, I didn't drive all the way out here to tie these guys. We go to win, or that's it." So we went for two, and we threw a pass to Raj, and we missed it, and we lost 7-6.
Ah,
Yeah, and that
dang.
ended up costing us a playoff spot.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
And that was 94 still, right? Or
yeah.
95. Remember?
What a game. And you watch a game like that, they got like 120 guys on the sideline. We had like 38.
But they was good. Those guys was your rivals, whether it was basketball, football, or baseball.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We have to get after them.
Yeah. Now what's going on with baseball? You still coaching baseball as well too, or no?
I do, yeah. So I was the head baseball coach in Mattawan for 17 years.
Okay.
When I got the head football job, I kind of stepped down.
Yeah.
And then the baseball coach who took over for me, he was a good friend of mine. He was like, "Hey, John, you got to come back here and help me." I was like, "All right." So I cut a good deal. I just coach pitching, and that's it. I don't mess around with the rest of it. I just coach the pitchers and call pitches in games. It's pretty good. We got a nice program. Kids do a good job. I love coaching baseball.
Mm.
I was the head track coach actually at Hillside all my years there.
Really?
So we split track up. Winston
Mm.
coached the boys, I coached the girls, but we practiced
Oh,
together all the time.
yeah.
So I would coach the throwers, and he would coach the sprinters and the jumpers, and we do it like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had the toughest kid. I had Nicole Adams out there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I totally
Oh,
forgot about her. But you know what? I know I shouldn't have because I had Lamont on. But she's definitely one that has to get on here as well.
she's my favorite.
Yeah.
Look, you coach some top tens in your lifetime. She's a top tenner, man. That kid's special.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, she surely was. She went for shot put, wasn't that?
Yeah, she's a
Shot put?
45-foot shot putter. Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible explosive strength, trained hard, worked. Outstanding young lady.
Wow. Hey, look, here's your boy, Al Tariq Lynn's in the building.
Tariq, what a great guy, man. You see
Yeah.
Al Tariq and things he's doing with his family and stuff like that.
Yeah, beautiful.
Sometimes, look, I'm gonna get corny with you for a minute. Sometimes we judge coaches on how many wins you got and how many losses you got, and we'll always say, hey, don't judge me on winning or losing. Let me know how my players grew up. Are they good dads? Are they good parents? Do they get good grades in school? Are they respectful citizens? And then Al Tariq Lynn's a special guy, man. And he grew,
Yeah.
came out of that town. And now, look, he's a dad. He's got great kids, and he's doing a great thing by them.
Yes, he is.
I couldn't be prouder of guys like him.
Okay, he has a question for you. He wants to know about the violent yards.
The what?
The violent yards.
The violent yards? Oh, yeah. So who was going to get in to get the violent yards? So we were a wing T club when we got down by the goal line or our first, third down and short. Who we going to give the ball to?
Yeah.
So we had James Penny at fullback, and we had Cedric Stokes and Al Tariq at the halfback. So they would always see who's going to get the violent yards. So we'd go in the meeting the next day and watch the film. And Tariq would be like, look at these yards. And then Cedric, you couldn't get him to be quiet. He'd be like, look at these yards. They had competition amongst them. And then James Penny would be like, yo, you should have gave me the ball, But the one thing about that crew, they were unselfish, man. They didn't care.
Yeah.
Byron Lewis would run the ball at quarterback. Cedric would run the ball. Al Tariq would run the ball. James Penny would run the ball. And hey, whatever happened, that's who ran the ball,
Yeah, wow. That was a very unselfish team. This, like I
Yeah.
said, it's a brotherhood. Once you get amongst you, Coach Sellers and Graham and Coach Ford, it was like a brotherhood. As soon as you got together and you got on that field or on that court, you knew it
I
was
was
something to
blessed, man.
work.
I had great kids and I had a great coaching staff. So with Raheem and Norm
Yeah.
and Howard Sellers, they brought that hometown Hillside thing to me and Coach Krisafi because we weren't from there. And then we just saw what it was about. One of the things that always stood out in my mind was when we started practice and it was hot and the kids would try to sneak out of the locker room and walk home without showering. Coach Sellers was like, "Get back in there and get
Yeah,
your
yeah.
You're not walking down the street in my neighborhood looking like that. Get inside and comb your hair. Get inside and dress. Like he wasn't having that because they were, people were representing our program.
Right. And you know what? I think that played a major part in like all of that. All of
Oh
that
yeah.
with the representation of your parents, your school, definitely.
No question. When you put that uniform on, you represent your coaches, your community, your parents, your all of it, and you got to do it right.
Yeah, man. You brought back a lot of memories, Coach. So just chat with you. Let's see, where can we go from here? We got a couple more minutes. Now, what I wanted to ask you was, I'm just going down the line here, as you can see. I wanted to ask you now. Eric said he hasn't lost. You can comment on this and let me know what you think about it. He said since he was a sophomore, going into senior year, sophomore, junior, senior, he said he's never lost and always been on the been going. You guys always went to the playoffs.
So, back in the day, like that, the playoff structure was only 4 teams.
Yeah.
Now it's 8.
Mm-hmm.
We would have been a playoff team every year, except we played in the Mountain Valley Conference,
Right.
and they made us play, a couple of Group 1 schools. Like we had to play Dayton, and we had to play, Manville or somebody like that, and that hurt us PowerPoint-wise. We would beat those teams all the time. But then we get to playoff structure, and it would always be Jefferson and Caldwell and these teams from elsewhere that had different kind of schedules than we had. So if we didn't beat Immaculata, we pretty much didn't get in,
Right.
So the one year we lost to Immaculata 7-6, and then we didn't get in,
Wow.
So,
And Immaculata was always a tough school and a tough team to beat from my freshman year up to this varsity.
Yeah, they just recruiting all the time. So you can't match that.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, we were good and we were talented, but
oh yeah,
these guys were just
The rest of the league would be up against them. Even when we were good, like Johnson Regional would be good, or us, or Roselle, or Governor Livingston. But none of us would really have a fighting chance against this 120-man squad that we're rolling. They didn't even fit in the team room at Conan Park. They would leave the other half out in the grass.
Yeah. Yeah, and then look at this comment here. I say to this day, Immaculata was on steroids.
Who said that?
That's Big Shaq 273. I think that's Richard Bullock.
Oh yeah, Rich. There you go.
Oh man.
I had the best time. I got to tell you, I had the best time at the playoff game at Rutgers. I went to see the team play, not this past year, the year before, at Rutgers Stadium in the playoffs when they played Point Pleasant Borough and won the state championship. And I see so many guys, man. I was so excited. I ran into like Shelby Davis and Barry Bird and Mac Dawkins and all these guys, man. Oh, we had such a good time. We had a hard time watching the game because we were just talking.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about that? Before we get out of here, what do you think about that? What do you think about Hillside's back-to-back trifecta championship teams?
Coach Grant's doing a tremendous job. I see him now and then in meetings, and look, I root for 2 teams hard: the team I coach and Hillside.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, and he does a great job, and that team, he's got it rolling now. So they're just, it's not going to be 1 year and rebuild. It's going to be retool and go get it again.
Yeah.
They're there.
I think I'm going to reach out to him as well as his quarterback and some of those players as well.
He'd be a great interview here, man. He's a tremendous leader, tremendous football coach, and he's doing a great job in that community.
Yeah. Okay, wait, hold up, Coach. Before you go, I think we got some questions. No, we don't. No question. I thought someone was in the question box. But all right, great. So, Coach, showing you that love, that '94 championship, 5 years to Hillside.
I love what you do. I think you give everybody an opportunity to go back and rehash some of the great times and the great things we had, and relive some of it in that community, man, and what makes it special. Keep doing the things you're doing. It's great, and I'll keep watching, man. I love it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. This goes up probably about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning tonight. I mean, this morning or tonight, however you want to look at it.
There you go. I'll have to take a look. Hopefully I don't look funny with these reading glasses on and everything else. But
no, you're fine. You're fine.
All right.
All right, now, Coach. Thanks for stopping by, man.
You got it, brother. Thanks for keep up the
Thank
good
you.
work.
Peace.
Peace.